Hey girl, while I pack this order, I want to talk about how to start an online business from home. You can either take the strategic route to pick a niche, then pick a product or a service, or you can pick a hobby that you already love, but you just got to be good at it. Most likely, if it's a hobby you already love, you're probably great at it. But if you're not so good, you can practice offline. But if you're a content creator, I recommend documenting the process. And you gotta be okay with not being perfect. The more mistakes you make are more relatable and lead to a trusted brand because your target audience gets to see you figure it out. But some people might say that positioning yourself as a professional or a master at whatever you're trying to sell, it can help you with sales. It just depends on which route you want to take. Do you want to build community through your business and be more relatable, or do you want to be like the big sister figure or the aunt figure or whatever figure to your audience to make them want to come to you for advice or to make them look to you as a person of wisdom in your field? For the longest time, I thought I failed at entrepreneurship. I started a lip gloss business back in 2020 and I went head first in the deep end. Now, sometimes you learn to float in that moment, or you even better learn to swim. But in this case, tell me, what do you think happened? I had a website I was charged for monthly and I wasn't even making any money. I got an LLC, did the legal paperwork, invested $500+. I did so much research, but I still felt unprepared. So I kept procrastinating and I wasted a lot of money. I never came up with a strategic plan and I ended up burning myself out. Eventually, I quit because I didn't want to do it long term. It felt like hard work and the lip gloss making, all that stuff was no longer fun. Don't get me wrong though, you do have to put in work. But making lip gloss, putting it in tools, cleaning the stickiness, cleaning the dishes, I don't even like washing dishes. That did not work well for me, and that's okay. When the Kindle inserts fell into my lap, I realized it was okay to regroup and start over. It was just a pause, not a failure. Comment below and let me know, what have you learned so far from that story? We're going to continue into how to start a business, but before we continue, besides whatever you learned, I want to make sure that you know you do not need to ball out on products like I did when I started the lip gloss business. I bought so many products that was unnecessary. I bought bulk lip gloss tubes. I bought bulk everything because I thought this was something that I wanted to do and I thought I was sure. But things change when you start and then you go through the process and you learn. Your mind might change. So it's okay to start small. It's okay to not invest right up front unless it's something that you need to start. Most likely, if you're doing something that's a hobby, you already have everything that you need. Like when I made the Kindle inserts, I already had a printer, I already had paper, I already had the Kindle, I already had the case, I already had Canva. Canva is free. I already had creativity. I already had everything that I needed to make it and print it. Everything fell into place and it made sense. And now that I've been doing it and I like it, I'm slowly expanding, I'm slowly investing. I recommend you do the same. Slowly expand, slowly invest. First, get your one product really good. So the second step to starting your online business is making a product or offering a service that you at least kinda enjoy or fully enjoy. And I say that because that will make everything else so much easier. Let's say, for instance, Kindle inserts. I started making Kindle inserts based on what I liked. When I posted my decorations, a lot of girls loved how I decorated my Kindle and wanted their Kindle to look like mine. They was asking where I got certain things from. Mainly everything on my Kindle got asked about, but there were some things that got asked about more than others. So I collected data from that and observed more, like what did I do to get their attention. I wasn't doing it on purpose, but I noticed that, okay, my Kindle is very pink because I like pink. I'm girly. My Kindle is very blingy. It's iced out and black girl coded because I'm a black girl. So I knew I needed to keep up with that aesthetic even if I wanted to add something different later, I knew to build with this first so everything would stay cohesive. So when you realize your aesthetic, whatever gets the most attention, whatever product, whatever service, keep doing that same thing, but making it different in different ways. Let's say, for instance, if you make stickers and a cat sticker goes viral, maybe you want to keep going in the cat direction and make all type of different cats, or maybe you want to go in more animal direction and add in the dogs and add in the parrots and add in more animals, but also you probably want to have a bigger cat collection since that's what went viral. You can also still try things, but you want to pay attention to what is getting the most traction and copy that, but make it different. Now it's time to research who you're talking to. Some people might say you should do this first, but this is the order that I did it because it fell into my lap. And I preferred it in this order because I was able to put products out there and see the feedback that I'm getting and then tweak my strategy. So you're going to research, what problem are you solving? Who is your target person? And I say target person instead of audience because speaking to one person is more manageable. It feels doable. But this person still represents an audience. Some people will fit into the audience 100%, and some may need more trust built, and some won't stick, and that's okay. So answer this in the comments. Who should see your product on their For You page? Who is typing your product into Google? What is their pain right now? What problem are they trying to solve? People don't look to prevent a problem, they look for a solution. So what does your product offer that they need right now? For example, now that I have the inserts down packed, I'm introducing Kindle keychains. They're marketed to girls who love to read, love pink and bling, who want to personalize their Kindle because it's basic and they want to feel something when they look at it. These girls are on TikTok, YouTube, and Pinterest, so I show up there consistently. I created something for myself first. It wasn't meant to sell at first, but with all the data that I was able to collect from the comments, from the likes, from the shares, from the views, I was able to see, okay, this is what they like. Now that you have the product or service, you have to figure out strategic ways to talk to your target person, and that's called marketing. What I just explained about all the engagement that I got from my Kindle insert that I made for myself, that is called organic marketing or organic engagement. It's kind of like I did a soft launch or a test launch to see if they liked it, but I didn't do it on purpose. I just showed something that I enjoy, that I really use, and that revealed my audience to me. That revealed that there is a market for Kindle accessories, Kindle decorations, Kindle inserts. And this aspect is kind of similar to TikTok Shop affiliate program or any affiliate links or UGC creators, because you're showing how you use things that you already have around your house, and then you just find the affiliate link so that you can make commission off of it, but you already use it. So it's just like a double win. So this was more organic marketing, but there are many different ways to market beyond social media too. Say for instance, you're a hairstylist and your target person is an 85-year-old retired woman who loves a fresh roller set every 2 weeks, who also loves Teddy Pendergrass and her favorite color is purple. We already know she might not be on social media, so maybe you market through newspapers, business cards, Google, or local advertising. Your approach would be more old school so that you can speak directly to Miss Nina, so you can show up in the places that she looks for you. Since she's retired and consistent, maybe you create a loyalty card. If she comes consistently for 6 months, she get half off. You respect her time by being punctual. If you're ever late, you communicate. Maybe you play Teddy Pendergrass at the start of her appointment. Maybe your branding includes purple or your loyalty card includes purple. First, you get her attention. Then you build trust. Then you create an experience that feels like home. That's retention. That's how you earn a faithful client. And that's more straightforward marketing. If you want a full video on marketing, comment marketing below. Before we move on, I just want you to know that this is all plug and play. If you bake cakes, if you are offering a cleaning service, whatever it is that you're doing, you can put your actual product or service in place of the examples that I've given and use this video as an outline on how to start and market your business. Now that you've researched your target person, you know the language they use, that helps with keywords, titles, and content for social media as well as your website. If you are new to starting a business, I recommend starting somewhere free and then migrating to a website later, because you never know if you might want to scrap this business, if you just want to use it as a side hustle, and do you even want to pay the fees that come with a website and a domain? That goes into more advanced territory, and I just don't want you to jump and lose your spark for something that could have been so good because you're trying to do every single thing up front. It's okay to start off on Etsy or TikTok Shop. This time around, I actually started with TikTok Shop and Etsy. They do take fees per sale, but I'm not paying anything up front, and everything is built already and easy to use. This is like a luxury. When I did have a website, it was like a headache. Even though I had control of everything on the back end, it intimidated me. And it made me feel overwhelmed because this is all new to my eyes. And while I did learn to navigate it, it was still very intimidating. Now, of course, I do want you to do your own research and see which one works better for you. If you want to get a website or if you want to start off on Etsy or TikTok Shop, it could work if you choose to get a website. There are sites that I think is free, like Stan Store, GoDaddy. I think that's a website. I think I had one of those websites before. But again, I just did it for my convenience. I just wanted to put the products in and figure out how to get them sold. Starting off with your own website is good because you'll own everything. You'll be able to be way more creative on how everything is set up, and all your products will already be set up on your website, so that's less work for you. But owning your own website can be a learning curve that can be worth it depending on how you look at it or where you are in the journey of starting your online business. Eventually, I will get a website because I want to fully own my own business and I want to get into email marketing and all that stuff, but I'm still in the building phase. If you're watching this, you probably are too. So comment any questions you have for me. So basically, if you want to start your online business from home, all you have to do is figure out the product that you're interested in or the service that you want to sell. Make sure it's niched down so that you can target people more specifically, which will make sales more easier because you'll know who to talk to and how. You can launch a product to get feedback, or you can do the research first, but either way, you need to do both steps. So you can do the market research, launch the product, and then continue to do market research so that you know exactly who are you talking to, who wants your product, who needs your product, what is their pain point, what problem is your product solving. Is it an emotional problem? Is it something that you're teaching? Is it something that you're showing? What are you selling? It has to be a feeling that you're selling, because people don't buy products, they buy feelings. So if you can touch someone's heartstrings and make them feel like, oh, look at the cute baby clothes, and they think of their niece or their nephew, then boom, you got to sell. Or if you can make someone want the lifestyle that you have. There's a lot of creators that are good at this, also known as influencers. If you can make somebody want the lifestyle that you have, then they'll watch your content. They'll be quicker to buy from you because they want what you have. They want what you make them feel. Marketing is about psychology. And then after you figure that out, you can tweak your product to make them feel that more. You can tweak your product to answer their questions. You want your product to make them feel like you knew exactly what they needed. You want to be the person they think of, their go-to person for solving this problem. So you have to show up in all the places that they are. You have to find out how to put yourself or your product or your service in front of their face. You got to talk their language. If they young and they use slang language, you got to use that. If they into Y2K, you got to figure out the Y2K language. If they're older, you have to speak to them directly. Put yourself in their face constantly. Also, when creating your shop or website, put yourself in your target person's shoes. What type of product photos does he or she want to see? What type of titles do he or she want to see? Where do he or she want to shop? Is it more convenient because they're scrolling on TikTok that they just want to click the orange shopping cart, or they want to go click the link in your bio and scroll down your website? You have to figure out who is the person. You got to know them inside and out. Who are you targeting? With that being said, that's all I have for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I really hope you learned something. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to check out this video next. Click it so you can watch, and I'll see you in the next one. Mwah! Bye.